Welcome, everybody, to another Angle of Pursuit podcast, your fantasy football, sports betting, and NASCAR home here at fakepigskin.com. Is that what we write for? Yeah, that's what we write for, fakepigskin.com. Here with me, as always, is Brian Twining. Brian, week 7. We're over like a third of the season through. The COVIDs are still popping up, but can't expect millionaires to follow the rules. It's simply make too much sense. But how are you, and are you ready for another week of action and betting and all that good stuff?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling pretty confident after another week of hitting those books and hitting them good, with the Pittsburgh Steelers just completely demolishing Cleveland, and basically the game script going exactly like I had anticipated, putting it all on Baker's shoulders and him folding under the pressure.
Yeah, it's all his fault. He's the reason they lost. I do appreciate that game going under, though. That was one of my important bets, and I was a little worried. The Steelers scored a little too much in the first half for my liking, but they really put it in like neutral and just let it cruise to the finish line in the second half. And I really do appreciate that. I am looking at our week bets. So as you mentioned, you had Steelers -3.5. You had the Titans -3.5, and you had
that was a lucky one.
And the Jets, yeah, but thankfully overtime, sometimes you get those, sometimes you get those to get you. Either way, your Jets team total under 19.5, I think might have been the easiest bet in the Sage Tree of the week, considering they scored a total of 0 points. The Vikings.
What the hell happened in that game?
That game. I don't know what to do. Like, Kirk Cousins is dead to me. The Vikings are dead to me. I don't know. And then your Cowboys, just like, dude, we were talking about it for a minute. Like, obviously laying the egg of all eggs, letting Kenny and Drake be fantasy relevant again. Zeke really hurt us with those 2 early fumbles. Once he started doing that and then did it again, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. And so yes, you had a 3-2 week. I also had a 3-2 week. I had the Cowboys money line as my best bet. That obviously did not pan out. I was with you on the Vikings. That obviously did not pan out. But we had the Titans. I had the Niners, which was fantastic.
That was a fantastic pick, by the way. That was a game.
I was ready for them, and that was what. See, there's sometimes where spots get you, and sometimes where spots just. It's meant to be. Just take it. And then Steelers under. So on the season, I am 15 and 12, 55 points, like 55%. Trending in the right direction. You're 20 and 10, 66%, doing a little bit better. Your best bets have been fire. I think you're 4 and 1. What was your best bet for week 6?
It was the Steelers.
Okay. So you're 5 and 1 on your best bets. I am 2 and 4. That we want to be trending like Brian, not like Kyle. So we'll keep an eye on that. I've been a little more patient on my best bet this week, hoping that it makes a little bit of difference, because the last couple weeks I found a number that I absolutely loved like the first day, and usually when it's that appealing that early, there's something wrong. You're missing something. And so anyways, so let's jump into it. We have, as always, we have a few games we're going to talk about. We're going to also, talk about basically any game that has anything that would be interesting to us in our best of the rest segment. We're also going to give you the college football minute, which may or may not be a minute long. We haven't decided. Each week it might change a little bit, but either way, and then we'll wrap it up. My dog decided that he needs to go examine the door, but don't mind him in the background. He'll lay down in a little bit. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's hit our games, and let's start with the Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. The Packers decided that that was another game which was incredibly weird. So Aaron Rodgers dives for the goal line. They call it a touchdown. He does his little celebration, his Hingle McCringleberry dance. And then they go, actually, no, it's not a touchdown because you're a quarterback. You were giving yourself up, even though you're diving forward and have, nothing to do with anything. The next drive, pick 6, and the game is all but over.
Oh,
Tampa
man.
Bay just runs away with it. Now they're back home, no, they're on the road for this one in Houston to take on a Texans team that, are the Texans good? Do the Texans have their breakthrough performance under Romeo, and now they're just going to go back to being a pumpkin? Where's your head at with this game, and where should we be going?
I think this is one of the most interesting games on the slate, and I was interested to see the way the line opened up because you would think that people would be down on Green Bay after just getting completely demolished in that game against Tampa, but something that that is leading me to believe that I think getting the Packers at 3.5 is great value is the fact that we've seen Green Bay have these games before where if they struggle early on, it's almost like they fold it in and they don't show anything, in the second half of games. They're not the kind of team that looks to get back into it really fast. If things are just not working, it seems to snowball on them with the way that they run their offense. And I think that's exactly what happened in Tampa. And going into this game against Houston, they by all accounts should have won that game against Tennessee if it wasn't for, a ridiculously good catch by AJ Brown in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
But there's
that was also
Texans.
a game where the Tennessee Titans were up 24-3, I believe, and had that game pretty comfortably, and let the Texans get back into it for some absurd reasons. So that was definitely an interesting game. And to your point, the Packers at that being down that much probably kind of pack it in and don't really go for it. But Romeo's I got nothing to lose. The Texans are well, nothing's going wrong. Everything's going wrong with our season. Maybe we'll make the playoffs. Doesn't look very likely. Let's just go see what we can do. And they obviously made a game of it. But, it's an interesting spot, I think, for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is a crucial game for Houston because they need this game to kind of stay in the playoff picture for the AFC in a wild card spot. Green Bay, they're now battling the Chicago Bears for the lead in the AFC North or the NFC North right now, which is ridiculous. But, I just go back to, even though Green Bay's beginning of the year schedule wasn't against that quality of opponents, they are still a team. If they start this game out fast where Aaron Jones is able to get going really quickly and Aaron Rodgers is on his game, I just don't think that we're going to see last week's performance duplicate itself, especially considering Aaron Rodgers had thrown 1 interception on the season leading into last week. This week, I think we see a much more efficient offense by the Packers. We see their defense play much better. I like Green Bay laying the points, and I'm hoping that the public sees the two performances by these two, and it creeps down closer to the 3 line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now. Bovada has it at 3. It's pretty much 3.5 across the board most places, but our friends over at Bovada have it at 3, which tells you a lot because Bovada is a pretty public book. Not a lot of sharps are on there. So if the line's down that far, that means a lot of people like the Texans, especially at home. Texans home getting 3 points. The thing I've learned, and I think that you'll see throughout the rest of my picks, I don't know that home field advantage, especially for these stadiums where they're quarter full, there's no fans. I don't know that it really matters.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this. I think it was last week. We were talking about whether or not home field was actually something this season, and I think there is something to be said about certain atmospheres, regardless of there's fans or not. But when you're going to a Texans team who, those stadiums are cavernous. The Texans have been kind of mediocre over the last few years. It's not like they have this rabid fan base by any means. So going into this game for the Packers, Green Bay probably would have had more fans there than Texan fans anyways. So this was a game that wasn't going to have any sort of effect by that means. And now they're playing on pretty much a practice field. So I think the advantage goes to Green Bay.
I'm with you, especially coming out of that game against Tampa Bay. They rested everybody. They're ready to go for this one. I will. Yeah. If I probably won't actually bet this game, but if I am, I'm definitely laying it. I am going to look for that 3 number though. I think that's an incredibly appealing number.
That's the sweet spot.
Let's keep it rolling. let's talk Titans Steelers. This could be the game of the day, which sets me up to be a little concerned because usually when it's the game of the day, it's like 9-7 or just like blowout or I don't know. So my Titans are facing a Steelers team that we both really like coming into the season. Obviously, one you hammered last week. And from a defensive perspective, seem to look awesome. The Titans, on the other hand, have shown the ability that if you want to take away the run, Ryan Tannehill can throw it 40 times, be incredibly productive. AJ Brown, they're going to get Corey Davis back. We'll see what Jonnu's a full participant in practice, which me as someone who picked up Anthony Ferkser in a lot of leagues,
I was just going to say that
is
broke
incredibly
my heart.
disappointed. Maybe he'll be active and be like a decoy, and Ferkser will still get 7 targets because Ferkser's been a guy that's been getting targets anyways. So we'll see. I'll see how I feel. Obviously Sunday morning we talk our starts and sits and help you guys decide with your fantasy lineup. So we'll hopefully have more information on that. But I'm worried about this game. The Titans are laying a point and a half, depending on where you look. This game is pretty pick'em, but I kind of like the Steelers. And I hate it.
Hate it. I think this is my favorite game on the slate, even with one of the games that we're going to be talking about here in a bit. But I think this is a game where it'll be really interesting to see that Pittsburgh, who leads the NFL in pretty much every defensive measurement there is in scoring, pass defense, rush defense, yards per play, yards given up by their defensive line, which is something that's really crucial in a game going up against Derrick Henry, and more than likely Taylor Lewan is gone. So
he's done.
That's a huge hit for that Titans offensive line. But conversely, I think the strength of this Titans offense is them running the play action. And even if they're unable to get like big chunk plays on the ground, like they're going to show run enough to put Pittsburgh in a run blitz mode. And if they're not careful, they're going to be leaving the Titans wide receivers in one-on-one opportunities where Ryan Tannehill has been eating defenses alive. So I really think that this game is going to be, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be Ryan Tannehill once again surprises everyone and really puts his foot forward and his name in the hat for the MVP conversation, or the Pittsburgh defense is just absolutely able to stifle what Tennessee is trying to do on offense, and they run away with this game, and it's another under 23-14 game or something to that effect.
So there's a couple key injuries to monitor for this one. AJ Brown did not practice on Thursday.
I think
the same thing was last week. From the Steelers' perspective, Devin Bush is not going to play in this game, and I think that is critical.
He's really big on the second level when it comes to if Derrick Henry is able to get past that front four, then it's going to be difficult to bring him down.
Well, and I think it's going to be hard too with Ferkser and potentially Jonnu Smith. Yes. I think they could have a big day in the middle of the field, and we'll see what Corey Davis can do. Sounds like he may be back for this game. Jadeveon Clowney's a full participant, which is great to see. The offensive line is my biggest question, especially against this front four. I think that's going to decide a lot of this game. Can the offensive line get the push to create the run lanes for Derrick Henry, and can they block for Ryan Tannehill? If they can do both those things, they have a very good shot to win this game. If they can't, if the Steelers are going to be in the backfield all day, the Steelers are probably going to win this game, and obviously you're going to be one step closer to cashing that Steelers is the last undefeated team bet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I'm slightly biased in this matchup because I do have that wager, and I apologize if you guys can hear my crazy Siberian Huskies barking in the background. This is a game that I'll probably avoid taking the numbers. Like, I'm leaning.
The one thing I will say is if you're looking for a nice hedge opportunity,
that's true.
Betting the Titans money line, even if not for a ton, just enough to get some of your initial investment back, might not be the end of the world.
Yeah, I would like Tennessee a lot more in this matchup if if they had been showing better in pass defense over the last couple games. I think there is definitely a worry on their back end. Like we saw Houston last week, who was getting crushed, like you said, just make a crazy quick comeback on them with those big chunk plays. And that's something that Pittsburgh has been able to do early on this year. And that would be something that I would be worried about as a Titans.
Oh yeah, no, our secondary has been very bad, and we're very bend but don't break. We've gotten a lot of interceptions and nice plays at the, as we get into the red zone, our defense stiffens up, which is great to see. But between the 20s, it's just a highway, and people are running up and down, and that's concerning, especially against a team that has elite receivers, that is getting Deontay Johnson back, that has Claypool and Juju and James Washington. Like, line them up, let them run. They're going to have a chance to produce. Like, we're not going to be able to stop all of them. That is my worry. As you mentioned, probably not a game I'm going to bet. A game I will be sitting on the couch stressing out over every single play. But game I probably won't be running to the window. A game I will be running to the window is your Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. It's time to get back on the Baker bandwagon. The Browns are going to win this game, and they're going to win it comfortably. These two teams played 3 weeks ago on a Thursday night, I believe. This game, the first matchup shouldn't have been as close as it was. That game was a double-digit spread that Joe Burrow got a late touchdown that ended up busting a nice investment I had made in that game. But I'm back on the Browns bandwagon. I know last week was ugly, but I think that game was more about the Steelers and less about the Browns. I think they get back to running the ball. Phillip Rivers was able to build a comeback against the Bengals. That tells you all you need to know right there.
Well, I mean, as good as I think the Browns' other pieces around Baker Mayfield like Cincinnati, they're showing some gumph. Like, I think this game is really going to come down to whether or not Joe Mixon is able to play, because if Joe Mixon is not fully healthy, that completely takes away anything on the ground that Cincinnati is able to do to show and keep Myles Garrett off of Joe Burrow the entire game. Yeah. And if he's limited in any way, I'm kind of in lockstep with you. And I think that Cleveland's front four will be able to get to Joe Burrow. And the fact that Cincinnati is still missing some pieces on their defensive line, I think Cleveland's able to get back to what they want to do.
Kareem Hunt is running up and down. Yep. You're playing DFS this week. He should be a crucial part of your of your lineups.
I think this is the game where we get to see them run that two-headed type of backfield again. And I think it's even Dearness Johnson will probably get from anywhere from 8 to 10 carries. I think he's probably in the 40 to 50 yard range, maybe even a touchdown. I like Cleveland to control this game on the ground.
Yep. Which means Cleveland wins the game, wins it comfortably, lay the field goal. If it gets up over 4, I don't like it quite as much, but 3.5, I'm very happy to play it there. Best of the rest. What other games are popping out to you? Because for me, so there's a lot to be aware of. Obviously, a lot going on. The Arizona Seattle game got moved to the night game. The Raiders Tampa is an afternoon game as of right now. I think there's a very good chance that game happens Monday or Tuesday. The entire offensive line is on COVID watch and is self-isolating. So, it's not just 1 or 2 or 3. It's a whole 5, which, I mean, the offensive line is supposed to move as a group. So catch COVID as a group. I get it. I love it. I actually sent John Gruden a text to see if I could come try out for offensive line, because
they're taking the herd immunity thing way too far here for the Raiders.
Raiders have their little bye, and now all their players have COVID. I don't think that's a coincidence.
And in Vegas,
keep an eye on that. Michael Thomas didn't practice today. I don't know what's going on there. I feel like there's a lot of issues. Maybe the Taysom Hill, Drew Brees scenario. I don't know. But keep an eye on that situation. If Michael Thomas doesn't practice again tomorrow, from a fantasy perspective, get ready. I kind of like the Panthers, especially if you can still get it at 7.5 against the New Orleans.
Man, that's a game. I think that line is really difficult for me to gauge, because if Michael Thomas were not to play, I think the strength of what New Orleans is able to do is keep the ball, away from their opponent by their efficient, short but efficient offense.
Yeah.
And I think this could be another one of those games where New Orleans, they literally ride the back of Latavius Murray on the ground and Alvin Kamara out of the backfield as a receiver. And this could be one of those 20-10 games, because Carolina, they're also not a team that's looking to go down the field with their passing attack. It's a dink and dunk offense. This could be one of the surprisingly lower scoring games of the week. I think like that's kind of the way I'm leaning with this one. And I would lean the under in this matchup as opposed to taking the line either way, because especially at over a touchdown for a Panthers team who has so many good weapons, it does scare me if I were to take New Orleans, because all it takes is an extra field goal or,
Yeah. The over under 51, the under is incredibly appealing. But if I'm leaning under, I'm probably leaning Panthers. I might do a nice little Panthers plus 7.5 and the under in a parlay. See if I can get some extra juice out of it. So the Cowboys are underdogs in Washington. Do we dare go back there, or do we because from a tickets perspective, people are going back 63% of the bets, but only 56% of the money. It's an interesting spot. Do we dare go back there, or is this just stay away from the garbage ass Cowboys?
I mean, I don't like betting on my teams to begin with in any sport. So that's been one of my longest standing rules, is I try not to wager on any of my favorite teams, because it's hard to remove your fanhood when you're trying to bet with your brain. That being said, still on paper and leading into this game, the Cowboys should win this game, and they should be more of a 3.5 point favorite on the road here. And I think this, again, is one of those games that we were talking about last week when they wound up laying an egg on Monday night, is, the public is basing it off of what we just saw, because Washington's offense is abysmal. They're horrible. I know they have Terry McLaurin back there, and he's a tremendous talent, and he could bust one out at any time, but their quarterback play is horrendous.
Yeah.
And as bad as the Cowboys defense has been, I think they could easily win this game, and it's not that surprising.
The total is 46. I might look to just take the under, but I still think Andy Dalton's fine. I don't think he can be Dak Prescott, but I think he can be 70% Dak Prescott.
And he's not. He wasn't the problem.
Lamb and Michael. Yeah, if Zeke holds onto the damn ball, he's turning into Zeke Barber. Freaking
Zeke holds onto the ball. Michael Gallup dropped an easy touchdown catch. So the narrative right now on Andy Dalton is, the Cowboys should go get Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry,
or Jameis Winston.
Yeah, no offense to either of those guys, but for what the Cowboys offer right now on the offensive side of the ball, give me Andy Dalton, the guy who's a 3-step drop, get the ball out of his hands type quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, granted, for a fantasy perspective, would it be awesome to have Fitz just chucking it down the field 60 yards? Yeah, it would be great. But in
terms of wins and losses,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm right there with you, leaning the Cowboys. I won't bet it, but I do like my boys to win that game.
Yeah, I also like Seattle against Arizona. I think this game should be 6 or 7, but because of what Arizona did on Monday Night Football against the Cowboys, it's sitting at 3. If you get it at 3, I'm going all hard on it. If it's 3.5, I'm probably still betting it, but a little less aggressively. I kind of like. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think another interesting matchup is Detroit at Atlanta, where we now see Atlanta as a 2-point favorite at home after.
I could trust Detroit at all,
I would take
be on
Detroit.
It.
Exactly.
But I can't, because they're Atlanta of the North. They just, and Smolo is tweeting out stats about Matthew Stafford, and
yep.
He's not been good at all. And obviously this is the matchup, but so was it for Kirk Cousins last week, who was actually looking good. I that's just to stay away from me. But the Monday night game is the one that's interesting. The Rams are getting 6 at home, or giving 6 at home. The Bears come in. Like, we've seen the Rams now a couple weeks in a row have like these, let's run the ball, let's control the clock. Like, obviously they got their butt kicked last week, so they had to throw more. But the game against the Giants, they're not scoring a lot of points. They want to like keep the possession and then do some play action off of the run game, and obviously that works great for what their offense wants to do, and their defenses look better. And here comes Nick Foles in that offense that doesn't really do a lot, but the defense is really strong. I could see this game being like a 13-10, and just once again, take the Bears, take the under, and cash some tickets.
Yeah, that's funny you're saying that, because I saw that number and I was like, wow, that's interesting that a 5-1 team is going to be a 6-point dog. Albeit on the road, but it's LA. Yeah. It's not like they're going to New Orleans or.
Well, and the other thing that I saw that was really interesting was they showed teams that were like either had one loss or no losses in their Super Bowl odds, and like all of them were like between like 15-1 to like, whatever the lowest was, 3 or 4 or 6, whatever Kansas City is, or I guess not Kansas City, but like, all those teams. And the Bears are still like 35 or 40-1 in the Super Bowl. That tells you everything you need to know about a Vegas point of view. So that really helps understand the line here.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good point there.
So I'm just writing down Bears Rams under 45. I will be there come Monday, assuming Sunday doesn't absolutely bleed my bankroll. Any other games you want to talk about before we do a little college football minute? Because I got some thoughts.
I will say I think this is the game where we finally see the Chargers hit full cylinder. Hit like that 5th gear on offense against this Jacksonville defense that is not good, and an offense that just can't really get it together. Every week we think it's a Gardner Minshew week, and he just can't get it going. Like, I think the Chargers cover the 7.5 this week.
What about the Chiefs? Like, the Chiefs just kind of mess around and win games. Like, even a game against the Bills, like they just kind of dicked around for a while. Oh, okay, we'll win now. Now they're going to Denver as almost 10-point favorites. If you wait, I guarantee you can get a double-digit line on that. But if you want to back the Chiefs, obviously got to jump on it now. So where's your head at?
I like the Chiefs. Initially, I was leaning Denver because I like Denver coming into the season, and then the injury bug started hitting them hard, like with Von Miller going down. I know Bradley Chubb has been dealing with some nicks. I know KJ Hamler is practicing at a limited basis. Noah Fant practiced in full today. That being said, dude, this Kansas City team, like you said, they're just finding ways to beat these opponents who have been playing really well. I know last week maybe that's the real Josh Allen, but what they were able to do on both sides of the ball against Buffalo was pretty impressive to watch. And now they're going into a team that they're very familiar with that does give them problems, but now with just an added weapon of Le'Veon Bell, that even if he's not involved in the offense in terms of a touching standpoint, like he's going to take away some of the attention from the defense. That maybe this is the game that Tyreek Hill finally busts out, or maybe this is the game that Clyde Edwards-Helaire finally finds a freaking end zone. Like,
yeah, he looks so good against the Bills.
Did.
I mean, they were just paving roadways, and he was just going up and down it. All right, let's talk the college football minute. That may or may not be a minute long. We'll see. Big Ten's back, Brian.
Thank goodness.
We got games to watch. My boys play early in the morning. Yours play late in the evening. If you're looking at the board, give me anything that's jumping out to you. I have a few, but I'll let you run first.
All right. So the first thing I love is I like Ohio State first half team total over 24.5. I just think they're going to come out and blow the doors off of Nebraska. Like, they want to show why they're a national championship contender. Justin Fields wants to show why he's better than Trevor Lawrence. Yep. I think they probably cover the line too. I think.
Yeah, I think I definitely bet it this morning. I want to say 14.5.
Yeah.
In the first half. Yeah, I think they're up 31-3 at halftime.
Yeah, definitely.
Rolling. So yeah, I'm 100% with you there. I I don't feel as good for the full game, but I mean, I if I think they're going to blow the doors off in the first half, I think they can hang on for a cover. But and I am betting it, I bet the first half.
Okay. So yeah, I love the first half in that game. I love Ohio State. I love their over. I like the over in Oklahoma and TCU. I think Oklahoma puts the pedal to the metal this week. And even if Spencer Rattler's throwing interceptions, TCU is going to be punching the ball in too, because once again, Oklahoma's defense is crap. So yeah. I think this game surpasses 60, probably somewhere in the third quarter. Big 12 once again has no defense. And then my last one is this isn't really a betting perspective, but I'm really interested to see the Michigan Minnesota game, because I want to see what Minnesota's wide receiver, I think it's like Rashad Bateman, can do against Michigan's kind of beat up, and their defense is not supposed to be as good as it normally has been. And then I want to see Joe Milton for Michigan. They finally get this dual threat guy. They're in it with the times. Like Jim Harbaugh has finally evolved from the.
It's Shea Patterson 2.0, my friend. I'm sorry to break your heart.
I'm excited for that. I'm really leaning those first two bets though. I like Ohio State, and then I like Clemson too, to lay the wood to Syracuse.
Yeah. I think Clemson first half, Syracuse second half would be my way to bet that game. I'm taking Minnesota on the money line. They are going to host Michigan, and they are going to beat Michigan. They are good. They have a lot of what they had last year. Obviously, a lot more. And
they're going to row the boat.
Ski Yuma. So I like that. I love the morning slate. Morning here on the West Coast. The early games are where my head and where my dollars are headed. As you mentioned with Oklahoma, I think they are heading in the right direction. If you can get it under a touchdown, which it seems like a lot of places have it, 6.5, pound Oklahoma. They are going to win. They are going to win big. I love that. Georgia Southern plus 5.5 plus 6. Big fan of that. Louisville is garbage. I know Florida State has had their ups and their downs and obviously looked really good, which concerns me a little bit. I kind of like that. I am backing North Carolina in a big bounce back spot against NC State. NC State's been good, but this is where NC State falls apart, and they just lost their starting quarterback that actually made that team roll. Iowa State on the road catching 3.5. Matt Campbell in Big 12 play as a dog is like 17-4 against the number, something absurd like that. So if you want to know what my card looks like, it's Iowa State plus 3.5. I took Oklahoma plus or -7 plus money. I took North Carolina plus 15. I think it's up to 15.5. I'd still take it. I take it anything under 17. I think they win going away. And then and then probably Georgia Southern plus the 5.5. I think that's a field goal game either way, and I'm happy to take the extra points.
I'm jealous you'll be able to enjoy all those college football games, as I'll be at work, with the dummies.
Yep. I'll throw on the Periscope for you, then you can watch the 6 screens. Ohio State will get the big screen, and then all of the other ones on the little one. Okay, that was a nice college football minute. We will be busting that out each and every week the rest of the way, just to give you a little sense of where our head's at. So let's recap week 6, Brian, and let me know what your betting card looks like.
All right, so I'm going to include the college football ones here. I got Ohio State over 24.5 in the first half. That's one of my favorite bets of the week. I'm going to take Green Bay minus 3.5 going to Houston this week. I'm going to stick with the LA Chargers at minus 7.5 at home, and Justin Herbert once again proving that he may possibly be the most ready of the rookie quarterbacks. And then I am going to take the Seattle at Arizona under 56 in a surprise call, thinking that the inefficiencies of Arizona's offense and DeAndre Hopkins still kind of banged up, and think that Seattle is able to kind of slow the game down with their running game this week. And that's why I'm leading the under in that one.
I like that call. I think a 31-13 game is very much in play, and I think that goes under, right?
Oh, yeah. It's 56.
Yeah.
Yeah, 56.
Yeah. I like that. So this is where my head's at. Jacksonville +7.5. The Chargers are great as underdogs. I don't trust them yet over a touchdown, even with Justin Herbert playing as well as he has. He still hasn't won a game yet. So the last time we thought they were the team to be, they went to Carolina and lost on the field. So let's slow down with them. I'm going with Panthers Saints under 51. Said I like that. Going with it. Bears Rams under 45. I think I wrote down.
Lots of unders.
I will take that. I like winning money. I don't like. I hate points, and I like winning money. It's a perfect combo. I am taking the Cleveland Brownies on the road -3, and my Seattle Seahawks -3.5, and then on the college slate, North Carolina -15, Oklahoma -7, Ohio State -14.5, and that's for the first half. And I hate betting favorites, so don't come at me with, well, you're picking all these favorites. Of course no, that's not. I never do. And just to knock the smell off the favorite train, Georgia Southern +5.5. Brian, it's time. It's right about that time. It is almost that time. Hit me with your week 7 best bet. Where you going? Who you got?
All right, I haven't mentioned them yet, and last week they got kind of exposed, but I'm going Buffalo Bills laying upwards of 13.5 against the Jets in a big-time comeback game for the Bills to show once again why they are the cream of the crop in the AFC East.
What's the Jets team total?
Probably not good. I was going to go that direction too.
Whatever it is, under. I'm taking the under. Add that to my card. Whatever it is. It could be 3 points. I don't care. Take the under.
Let's check it out. 16.5. How do they keep getting
under?
How do they
under.
keep getting this
under.
number?
I don't care if Matt Milano's not playing. I don't care.
And that's actually better juice.
Under. Betting it. Done. My best bet. Seattle Seahawks. -3, -3.5. I'll go 3.5 because that's what the line is across the board. I will take the Seattle Seahawks on the road in Arizona to win by 4 or more.
That definitely won't do my Pittsburgh Steelers last remaining undefeated team any favors, but no. I do like that call, unfortunately.
Nope. That bet won't be decided until the Titans and Seahawks play in Super Bowl, whatever it is this year. All right, Brian Twining, this was a lot of fun. Obviously, we hit our bets. We hit our college football bets. We gave you extra nuggets, whatever you like. In the comments, let us know where's your money going? Who are your best bets for week 7 for whatever week it is in college football? Because it's first week for Big Ten. It's like week 8 for some Big 12 teams. It's week 3 for some Big 12 teams. Nobody knows. Just tell me what college games you like this week. Tell me any NFL games you like this week. Where are you lining up? Where are you dropping your hard-earned cash at the window? But for Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert, and we'll talk to you guys next time.